The cherry blossom falls gently upon the polished black armor. It is a picture of perfect, stoic serenity. We embrace this image of the noble warrior poet. The world believes in their unwavering, sacrificial loyalty. History tells us they lived only for honor. We are told they despised material wealth and gain. This narrative is a masterpiece of historical fiction. It is a brilliant mask, crafted to hide a monster. Truth is buried under layers of revisionist ink. We must dig through the propaganda to find bone. Strip away the silk robes and look closer. You will not find a saintly knight. You will find a desperate man hungry for land. The earliest warriors were not knights in shining armor. They were hired muscle for the distant aristocracy. The capital city was too weak to govern borders. Local strongmen rose to fill the dangerous power vacuum. They did not fight for an abstract moral code. They fought to secure their own private rice paddies. Every arrow loosed was an investment in real estate. Loyalty was a contract written in fluctuating currency. If a lord ran out of coin, he vanished. The warriors would simply find a richer master. Betrayal was not a sin. It was business strategy. Let us examine the grim mechanics of their advancement. Motion required tangible proof of a kill on the field. This proof was the severed head of an enemy. Battlefields were not dueling grounds for honorable combat.
They were chaotic marketplaces for harvesting human trophies.
Soldiers would stop fighting to secure their grisly prize. They carried bags specifically designed to hold severed heads. Sometimes they would cut off noses to save weight. Imagine the smell of iron and rotting flesh. There was no glory in this industrial slaughter. Your status depended entirely on your body count.
1, 2, 3!
Fraud was rampant among these so-called honorable men. They would kill women or peasants to boost numbers. The commanders had to inspect heads to verify kills. It was a bureaucracy of death and deceit. Cinema has fetishized the curved blade as a soul. Think the sword was their primary tool. This is another fabrication from a much later era. For centuries, the horse and bow were supreme. Later, the spear became the king of the battlefield. The sword was merely a sidearm for emergencies. It was the pistol of the pre-modern era. Using it meant your primary plans had failed. Then came the weapon that truly changed everything. Foreign traders brought the matchlock musket to the shores. The warrior caste did not reject this dishonorable machine. They adopted the gun with terrifying speed and efficiency. It was cheaper to train a peasant with a gun. Years of martial arts training became instantly obsolete. A farmer could kill a master swordsman easily. They loved the gun because it was efficient. Victory was always more important than method or style. The era of warring states was a nightmare. Fathers poisoned sons to keep their castles secure. Generals switched sides in the middle of battles. The term for this was the low overcoming the high. Subordinates were constantly plotting to overthrow their superiors. Trust was the most dangerous weakness one could have. You slept with one eye open, or you died. The great unifiers were not men of peace. They were simply the most ruthless butchers of all. They burned mountains and slaughtered monks without hesitation. Terror was their primary instrument of political control. They crushed resistance until the land fell silent. Then, a strange silence fell across the island nation. The wars ended, and a strict peace began. The warriors suddenly found themselves without a purpose. They were killers, trapped in a world without war. They became administrators, clerks, and bored bureaucrats.
They had to justify their privileged social position.
Why should peasants bow to a man with a pen? So, they began to write their own mythology. They looked back at the bloody past with nostalgia. They sanitized the history of betrayal and greed. They invented a code of ethics that never existed. The way of the warrior was born during peace. It was a tool for social control and stability. They convinced themselves they were always noble priests. The armor became a costume for parades, not war. We cling to the myth because reality is cold.
We want to believe in a code of honor.
But the historical record does not care for feelings. These men were survivors in a brutal, unforgiving world.
They did what was necessary to feed their families.
They were human, flawed, and driven by self-interest. Recognizing their humanity makes them more interesting, not less. They were not demons, but they were certainly not saints. The cherry blossom falls, but the roots drink blood.